Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. Florida State versus Duke. Betting on Florida State this season has been a risky endeavor, and it hasn't gotten any easier. Despite changes at quarterback, the Seminoles' offensive line remains a significant weak point, leading to a largely ineffective ground game. This doesn't bode well, as they face one of the top defenses in the nation, Duke. The Blue Devils will make it tough for Florida State to gain traction through the air, with their defense consistently shutting down opposing quarterbacks. Expect Duke to dominate the ground game, controlling the clock and time of possession. With their methodical approach, the Blue Devils are likely to wear down the Seminole defense, allowing them to cover the -3 3-point spread. Quarterback Riley Murphy has struggled with consistency, completing less than 60% of his passes, but Duke's defense has been stellar, holding opponents to just a 58% completion rate. Additionally, Duke has one of the best third-down defenses in the nation, a critical factor in their success. While they've had some struggles in the red zone, the Seminoles' defense hasn't been much better. Florida State's offense has also faltered inside the 20-yard line, and their high turnover rate could result in some crucial giveaways. This matchup has the feel of a grinded-out affair where points will be at a premium. The first team to hit 20 might just walk away with the win. With both teams likely to rely on their defenses, taking the under 42.5 points looks like the smarter play in what should be a low-scoring battle. Oregon versus Purdue. Oregon is making waves in its inaugural season in the Big Ten, emerging as one of just 11 undefeated teams in the nation with a stellar 6-0 record. Sitting atop the conference alongside Indiana and Penn State with a 3-0 Big Ten mark, the Ducks have also faced the toughest strength of schedule among undefeated teams, ranked 35th nationally. Their most impressive win came last week when they edged out Ohio State 32-31 in a thrilling contest that catapulted them to the number 2 spot in the AP poll. Leading the charge was Oklahoma transfer QB Dillon Gabriel, whose poised performance under pressure earned high praise from head coach Dan Lanning. "Every time I looked at his eyes tonight, I saw a guy who was composed and ready for his next moment," said Lanning. "He played really well tonight in some big moments." Now in his third year at Oregon, Lanning boasts an impressive 28-5 record. On the other side, Purdue is struggling mightily, sitting at 1-5 and facing the very real possibility of missing a bowl game for the second straight season following a 4-8 finish in 2023. After a season-opening win over Indiana State, the Boilermakers have endured a rough stretch, losing their next 4 games by an average of 35 points. Their latest setback came in a heartbreaker against Illinois, where they fell 50-49 in overtime after mounting a furious second-half comeback. Trailing 27-3 at halftime, Purdue managed to score 2 touchdowns in just 8 seconds to claw back into the game, but ultimately fell short in the extra frame. Unfortunately, the road ahead doesn't get any easier, as Purdue is set to face a brutal stretch against Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State in 3 of their next 4 games. Oregon's dominance and Purdue's continued struggles set the stage for what could be another commanding performance by the Ducks as they continue their march through the Big Ten. The advantage of playing on a short week is the extended break that follows, and Oregon will certainly benefit from that extra time to recharge ahead of their matchup with 5-1 Illinois next Saturday. However, as they prepare to face a struggling Purdue team, there's no doubt that Coach Lanning will use recent upsets, like Alabama's loss to Vanderbilt, as a motivational tool. That said, Vanderbilt is a far stronger team than Purdue, and while there's always a risk of a letdown game for Oregon, it's clear that the Ducks face much tougher competition in the second half of their Big Ten schedule. Given that, the hefty 4-touchdown spread on the road seems a bit steep. Oregon's offense has been consistent, but not explosive in recent weeks, averaging 34.5 points per game and putting up 34, 31, and 32 points in their last 3 outings. With this level of predictability, it's reasonable to expect a similar output, especially with the team on the road and operating on short rest. At that scoring range, Purdue would only need to reach the low double digits to cover the spread, a manageable task, even for a struggling team like the Boilermakers. With that in mind, I recommend taking Purdue plus 28 points. The posted total of 60 points suggests the expectation of a high-scoring affair, but given the circumstances, that may be an overreach. Oregon, focused on returning home fresh for next week's game, will likely aim for a quick, efficient win rather than running up the score. Additionally, Purdue has scored 10 or fewer points in half of their games this season and may have to rely on a redshirt freshman quarterback, which will likely lead them to lean heavily on the run game in an attempt to shorten the contest. Though Purdue's games have leaned toward the over, 42-0/U, their average total sits at 48.16, making the 60-point mark an over-adjustment. Expect a more controlled pace from both sides and take the under on 60 points. Oklahoma State versus BYU. BYU delivered a commanding 41-19 victory over a solid Arizona Wildcats team, further solidifying their impressive resume, which already includes a significant win over Kansas State. The Cougars' defense has been a game-changer, allowing just 19 points against Arizona while forcing 4 turnovers, including 3 interceptions. This isn't just a good defense, it's an opportunistic one. They excel at creating momentum-shifting plays, such as Jacob Robinson's crucial interception early in the second half against Arizona, which turned the tide in BYU's favor. This defensive edge is crucial, especially when you're looking at a spread like -9. BYU's ability to stifle opposing offenses and make big plays when it counts allows them to pull away in the later stages, as Arizona saw firsthand in what was a tight 14-7 game at halftime that turned into a 41-19 blowout by the end. On offense, BYU has found its rhythm. Despite some early injuries, the running game is back in full swing, as evidenced by their 5.4 yards per carry against Arizona. The offensive line has been rock solid, consistently opening lanes and protecting quarterback Jake Retzlaff. Retzlaff has been efficient, passing for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns in their last outing. But beyond the standard stats, BYU's offense has shown creativity. The 99-yard drive capped off by Parker Kingston's razzle-dazzle touchdown pass to L.J. Martin is a testament to their dynamic play calling. This balance of a powerful ground game and an innovative passing attack makes BYU a strong pick at -9. Team pick: BYU -9 points. BYU's rushing attack continues to improve, bolstered by the return of L.J. Martin, who played a key role in their ground game resurgence. Averaging 5.4 yards per carry against Arizona, the Cougars have become harder to defend, keeping defenses off balance and allowing them to wear down opponents and control the tempo of the game. The offensive line has been stellar, providing Retzlaff with time and giving their runners room to maneuver. Now, while BYU's defense has excelled at generating turnovers, it's worth noting that they've allowed opponents to move the ball at times. Arizona, for instance, racked up 389 total yards, 275 passing, 114 rushing. Though the Cougars capitalize on mistakes, their opponents still find ways to score. This dynamic creates a game environment ripe for hitting the over. BYU has scored 41, 35, 31, and 38 points in their last 4 games, showing they can carry the offensive load. Their opponents often manage to generate points as well, making the total score likely to climb. Expect a high-scoring affair in this matchup. Total pick: over 52.5 points. Fresno State versus Nevada. As the Mountain West Conference, MWC, showdown approaches, Nevada rides a wave of momentum, having won 2 of their last 3 games. In contrast, Fresno State enters the fray looking to break a 2-game losing streak. While the Bulldogs face tough competition in their recent matchups, they decisively defeated the Wolfpack last season. Nevada's recent win came with a hefty cost, as they surrendered 522 yards while forcing 4 turnovers without committing any themselves. This inconsistency could pose a challenge against a more balanced Fresno State offense. The Bulldogs may not be stellar on defense, but they effectively limit rushing yards, which will be critical against a Wolfpack team that struggles in the passing game, ranking 110th nationally in passing yards per game. This matchup is expected to be closely contested, but Fresno State's balanced attack should ultimately secure the victory and cover the spread, snapping their 2-game skid. Take Fresno State -2.5 points. While last season's meeting between these two teams ended with the total going under, I'm leaning toward the over in this matchup. Nevada recently showcased their offensive potential, scoring a season-high 42 points against a solid Oregon State team, which could inject confidence into their game plan. However, while they may perform decently on offense, they likely won't replicate their previous success against a Fresno State defense that allowed 25 points in their last game. On the flip side, Fresno State is poised to utilize their balanced offensive approach, potentially racking up significant points against a Nevada team that struggled defensively in their last outing. With Nevada having gone over in 3 straight games, it sets the stage for a high-scoring affair in this conference clash. Take the over 51 points.